Attention gamers. There's a level of excitement I always get as an ADC entering a big team fight. Thinking about playing the only role in the game that has the word damage in its name. Knowing if no one focuses me I will just be able to unload fat disgusting amounts of damage onto anyone in my path. I just love playing a role that has so much power, regardless of what I build. As you can tell, enemies look at me and they are just forced to respect me as they know I am the glass cannon of the map with a fat emphasis on cannon, and no one else will ever have the capability of matching the amount of health bar chunking that I can provide. The hairs on my gooch stand straight up at the thought of getting stronger, building items that are purely based around damage with no other stats other than just raw unadulterated power, and knowing that if I get free range to unload an ult on a full damage class with full damage items, it's just going to be a bad day to be on the other team, baby. Laning phase on this role can be shaky, but I seek comfort in the fact that I can play way behind my tier 1 tower and not lose 70% of my health the one time I get hit by a snare. I don't understand how anyone in this role can get behind when you can just play safe and turret farm until you reach giga carry levels, and that is my essay on why ADC is my favorite role to play. 12 years ago when they were unique in their ability to do damage, but now things have changed, and today I'd like to show you the secret to overcoming and taking advantage of the current ADC situation. But before I do, check out this gaming PC that looks like a League of Legends Nexus. Anyone can win this by entering Signal RGB's Epic PC giveaway for free. The crystal is surrounded by infinity mirrors which can be lifted to show a kitted 3070 Ti graphics card, an 11900K processor, 32 gigs of RAM and a whole damn terabyte of SSD. All RGB is customizable, and with the Signal RGB application which syncs to RGB devices of any brand. It has game integration so the colors and lights can literally react to what your champs are doing in game. To enter the free giveaway for this hilariously awesome PC, check the link in the description and let's get into the strategy. Which boils down to rolling ADC but picking a mage, and there's no better champ to do it than this knee-nibbling win fight button ult pushing magic little midget, and you can see we are against an anime twinkle shit and someone rolling the flavor of the month champ in support, hard griefing his team as Nautilus gets riot buggy coated into a wall. This prompts a short turf war in the taint of river as Anchor Andy is fleeing the crime scene wondering what the hell just happened. But despite the enemy's health being worse than a chain-smoking COPD VIP on the lung transplant list, they push on because Little Red Riding Hood's sex fantasy is in the area. But I don't carry around the world's largest 4-leafed clover to not get lucky as shit in a play where I managed to secure not 1, not 2, but 3 kills by casting a total of 2 abilities. And since I'm a mage against an early game ADC, we have the lane more pushed in than a refund button on anything Logan Paul has ever sold, as Skarner takes my support on a tour of the ground in front of his tower and I channel my basic bitch and say I don't fuck with Scorpios. At one point I'm having a friendly conversation with a diabetic toad thinking about gracing this pajama wearing werewolf with my company when this Ezreal big brain uses his only escape to get intimate with me, so I politely ask him to taste the rainbow and then I introduce him to my one button win fight mechanic. And seeing as our comp has more CC than a spam email the second we are the lucky recipients of a rare silver elo gank, we capitalize like it's the first letter in a sentence and little Goku goes back to base. For some reason these degenerates felt like they were allowed to piss and tickle all over each other in our neck of the woods, so now I have to be the loiter policing leprechaun by putting the dog in the pride pen and euthanizing him. At this point I was 7-1, which was completely undeserved, but I had CC and fat burst, so anytime the enemy ADC was alone we would just chase him like chronic depression chases anyone who plays League of Legends, and eventually when he acts like he's gotten the tiniest shred of hope from being behind 2 layers of turrets I remind him that there is no place for his kind on the Rift anymore. I'm not new to being completely out of position, but as a marksman I'm used to it, meaning I will be deleted faster than Hillary Clinton's emails, but when playing a utility mage I make my way out of shit situations, and when the enemy ADC does pop in I quickly let him peep at my win fight button before shooing him away. Even when I miss the shit out of my pride pen there's still a fraction of a % chance he's going to have any fun in this game, as I'm not the only one serving murder a la Rainbow. Added to the fact that I can look at this fucked up depiction of a childhood nursery rhyme and say my grandma what big fucking teeth you have while jamming my dick into my alt key, and before you know it, their ADC isn't even at his computer anymore, he's tabbed out shopping for vapes and pornos to distract him from the misery he just experienced, and that, my friends, is the power of playing mage in the ADC role. But not all games are giga-fed fests with a support diff, which is why I wanted to show how this can still work even when your lane mate has a severe IQ deficiency. In game 2 I opted into playing some Twitter influencer and my support was one of those full tank Teemos that you heard about in scary campfire stories. He was constantly more blindly pushed up than Helen Keller's tits in a Victoria's Secret bombshell bra, so we were playing salvage the shitfest from level 1. But thankfully Golden Legolas here was like, you can't spell feed without a little greed, so he proposes a trade deal and I oblige before trying to sweeten the deal for myself by asking if a clown and a lifetime supply of milk can be thrown in, and thanks to me bringing in negotiator talent I got it all. I did start to learn how to play with Teemo's unadvised aggression, like when he ran way past the waves to spit some shit at the enemy I would just join in and follow the OnlyFans business model where I would send some gamer girl bath water to a man before flashing him and earning my cash, and it worked perfectly. But at times I have to admit I was a tad frustrated at the fact that we were running back into turret range against a fresh reset enemy with cooldowns, and I admit these did get the better of my mental from time to time. I'd like to apologize to that Teemo because in reality I was doing the same dumb shit when he wasn't around. I was just lucky because I could debut my new single called The Pink Fuck You Beam, and this knocks Varys dead immediately. The cow was less sure, but I told him it would grow on him, or I'd slaughter him. I can't really speak to how Tank Teemo always found himself more outnumbered than a pretzel in a bag of Chex Mix, but instead of relying on my right clicks I could just encore Pink Fuck You Beam with other spells to follow up, to at least comp a single kill in a situation that looked bleak. Thankfully their ADC had the map awareness of a plastic fork, so I would slyly herd him towards our forest flambeing samurai, and then I would say surprise get splice bitch before requesting something creamy for us to have for dessert. I will admit I was playing greedier than the business plan behind Crypto Zoo, but when clowns showed up I could just laugh at them the way it should be, and despite still feeling like I had no clue what was going on, kills were still falling into my big hair stage riding ass. Seeing it this is silver, we all chose to 5v5 team fight over the dragon that would be spawning in 4.5 minutes, but I love team fights as a Twitter simp even if not everyone wants to hear my songs, because just by smashing my buttons I'm doing healy shieldy things, and if I do find myself in a shootout with a bowman I can just blue bomb him into oblivion. When the obvious play would be to push in mid and take the completely uncontested inhibitor, I chose a different route, which was to run in the opposite direction of LP to fight in the middle of the enemy forest, bait my Beyblading butt buddy into dying, and then waste my own flash all so I could get another kill, and that, my friends, is why I'm hard stuck. But being this dumb just works better on a non-marksman, as I can arrive fashionably late to team fights and serenade half their team. When my Gnosis is on his I'm him story arc, I can politely support him from the side, cosplaying an enchanter until the situation becomes evidently more doomed than the plot of Barbie, so I peace out. Anytime I would see my Rift counterpart I would spare no amount of abilities and no amount of glitter in what I would whip at him to make sure I was the one saying bot gap at the end of the game. Our tank Teemo was trying to give up despite the map looking less balanced than a drunk guy with chronic vertigo, but I had an impressive kill participation as I could both be a damage dealer and a nutsack cuffing enchantress, so we were winning every fight and eventually destroyed the enemy Nexus. A Nexus that is also a gaming PC that you could get for free today by entering the giveaway below. Rav out.